Good evening. The official launching of AirBorneo marks a significant milestone in Sarawak's aviation journey, reinforcing the state's long-term strategy to strengthen the air connectivity and support economic development across urban and rural areas. Sarawak Transport Minister Datuk Sri Lee Kim Shin said the successful takeover of Mas Wings on 1st January 2026 and the launch of AirBorneo's inaugural flights reflects months of coordinated planning and commitment by multiple stakeholders. He expressed heartfelt appreciation to the dedicated teams involved in the transition process, noting that intensive preparations, frequent coordination meetings, and close cooperation among agencies ensured that operations were taken over smoothly and on schedule. According to him, the launch of AirBorneo represents a strategic step in strengthening Sarawak's aviation ecosystem, particularly for a geographically dispersed state that depends heavily on air links.
For Sarawak, air connectivity is not a luxury, it is a necessity. As a geographically dispersed Sarawak, aviation plays a vital role in connecting our rural and remote communities, supporting trade, tourism, and enabling access to education and healthcare, and facilitating business and investment.
He said this to the media after the AirBorneo inaugural flight launching ceremony at VIP terminal of Kuching International Airport on Friday. Datuk Sri Lee said the Sarawak government's decision to establish AirBorneo reflects a development-driven approach, as aviation is known to generate strong multiplier effects through job creation, tourism growth, and higher value economic activities. Through AirBorneo, he added, the Sarawak government now owns and operates the former Mas Wings network, which continues to provide essential rural air services across Sarawak, Sabah, and Labuan. The Sarawak government will conduct comprehensive studies to review and upgrade rural airports as part of its broader efforts to strengthen air connectivity and support the future expansion of regional air services in the state. Datuk Sri Lee said this includes assessing existing rural airstrips that may require improvements, particularly those serving areas not easily accessible by road or other modes of transport. He said several rural airports fall under federal jurisdiction and proposals for upgrading, including runway extensions, will be brought up with the federal government to enhance operational capacity and safety. One such project currently underway is the extension of the runway at Barrio Airport, which is expected to be completed by the end of this year, allowing it to accommodate twin-engine aircraft more effectively. Datuk Sri Lee explained that at present, aircraft operations at certain rural airports are constrained by short runways, limiting passenger capacity for safety reasons, despite aircraft being capable of carrying up to 90 passengers. He noted that Sarawak's aviation development is being implemented in phases, with the current focus on strengthening existing rural air services before progressing towards the next phase of becoming a regional airline.
We're talking about the rural services, and we really now study the next phase. That is turning it into a regional airline, where we need to comply also with regulatory measures, regulatory compliance. We need to apply for our change of our air operating license, not to include regional service, and of course then we have a professional team, expertise to look into type of aircraft and so on, what model that we're going to use.
He stressed that all decisions will be made professionally based on expert studies, adding that no announcements on aircraft selection or regional jet operations will be made prematurely. AirBorneo will adopt a collaborative and progressive approach as it moves into its next phase of operations, with a clear focus on improving services while strengthening Sarawak's aviation ecosystem following its inaugural flight launch. Sarawak Secretary and AirBorneo Chairman Dato' Amar Muhammad Abu Bakar Marzuki said the establishment of the airline reflects the Sarawak government's far-sighted vision to enhance transportation infrastructure for the benefit of the people. He expressed appreciation to Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Abdul Rahman Zohari Tun Datuk Abang Openg for his long-term mission in strengthening connectivity, describing AirBorneo's launch as the first step in a longer journey towards a more resilient and people-centric aviation sector.
I think seperti yang dikatakan oleh Yang Mohd Datuk Seri, this is just permulaan. Setiap perjalanan mesti dimulakan dengan sesuatu one step first. So moving forward, as mentioned by Yang Mohd Datuk Seri, we will always relook at what is our way of doing things in order to give the best to the people of Sarawak.
Dato' Amar Muhammad Abu Bakar said AirBorneo will not operate in isolation, but instead adopt a collaborative model by working closely with strategic partners and industry allies to deliver reliable and efficient air services. He stressed that cooperation across stakeholders is essential, as no single entity can build a strong aviation ecosystem alone, particularly in a state with unique geographical and connectivity challenges like Sarawak. Sarawak welcomes a new chapter in regional aviation with the launch of AirBorneo's inaugural flights on Friday, signaling a fresh era of connectivity following its acquisition of Mass Wings effective 1st January 2026. The milestone was marked at the VIP terminal of Kuching International Airport by the Minister for Transport Sarawak, Datuk Sri Lee, who officiated the AirBorneo inaugural flight launching ceremony ahead of the airline's first commercial departures under its own livery. The inaugural operation saw an ATR 72-500 departing Kuching for Muka at 8:25 a.m, followed shortly by DHC-6-400 flight to Tanjung Manis at 8:45 a.m, symbolizing AirBorneo's immediate focus on strengthening air links between urban centers and coastal and rural destinations. The ceremony unfolded as a visual narrative of AirBorneo's journey, beginning with a montage reflecting its evolution and aspirations as Sarawak's homegrown carrier. Guests were later introduced to the airline's cabin crew uniforms, featuring clean and modest tailoring accented by Kerinkam-inspired scarves that reflect Sarawak's heritage and cultural roots. Residents in flood-prone areas are advised to strictly follow evacuation orders issued by the authorities to mitigate safety risk amidst the current unpredictable weather conditions. Sarawak Deputy Premier and Chairman of the Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee (SDMC), Dato' Amar Douglas Ugah Embas, stated that water levels can rise rapidly. Therefore, public cooperation is vital to ensure the protection of lives.
We have witnessed how the water rise so fast in Batu early last year, and when it rise so fast, then it is very difficult to ensure that everybody will be safe. Walau bagaimanapun, anggota-anggota kita memang dah mempunyai pengalaman, and so the public, I appeal to the public and to the leaders, please cooperate with this agency supaya tidak ada perkara-perkara yang tidak diingini berlaku di mana-mana tempat. We want to make sure the convenience of our mangsa di tempat-tempat pusat pembinaan sementara.
The Deputy Premier spoke following a SDMC meeting at the Sarawak State Disaster Control Centre (SDCC) in Wisma Bapa, Malaysia on Thursday. The State Disaster Management Machinery has directed all divisional and district committees to reassess their readiness for floods. This includes the preparation of evacuation centres with a specific focus on hygiene and basic facilities. To date, 5 temporary evacuation centres have been opened in the Kuching area to house flood victims: Stapok Community Hall, Sina Budi Baru Hall, Surau Ar-Rahman in Kampung Sungai Batu, Taman Maliha Hall and Surau Nurul Najin in Kampung Darul Stapok. Sarawak marked the official launch of Visit Malaysia Year 2026 VMY 2026 with a welcoming ceremony for visitors arriving at the International Arrival Hall of KIA on Thursday. The ceremony was officiated by Minister for Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Sarawak, Datuk Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, who said the initiative reflects Sarawak's readiness to receive both domestic and international visitors at the start of the new tourism year. Speaking to the media on site, he said the simultaneous welcoming ceremonies were held nationwide on 1st January 2026 in conjunction with VM 2026, involving 55 main entry points and selected locations across all states and territories.
Di tempat-tempat tertentu di Sarawak diadakan di 9 tempat, adanya di laluan darat, ada di lapangan terbang, macam di KIA, di Miri, di Sibu, di Bintulu dan yang lain-lain di Biawak, di Tebedek, di Sungai Tujuh dan sebagainya.
He added that the ceremony at KIA symbolized Sarawak's hospitality and commitment to ensuring a positive first impression for travellers arriving the state, whether for holidays, family visits or returning to their hometowns. Kuching North City Commission, DBKU, will conduct a survey to overcome the flooding problems in Sungai Batu here, especially the phenomenon of stagnant flood waters. DBKU Mayor Datuk Hilmi Othman said DBKU will undertake this study after receiving the comments and opinions of community leaders during a visit to the Surau Ar-Rahman Temporary Evacuation Centre, PPS, Kampung Sungai Batu on Thursday. He said it will be escalated to higher authorities, that is the Sarawak government, for a survey with the relevant agency can be carried out in an effort to alleviate the burden and risk of flooding.
InsyaAllah pada masa yang akan datang, pihak kita akan bersama dengan pihak DID untuk berbincang dengan perkara ini. Jadi saya berterima kasih kepada kepimpinan masyarakat tadi, Sama KK dapat menyuarakan perkara yang praktikal on the ground untuk kita selesaikan. InsyaAllah kita akan bersama-sama dengan agensi lain untuk menangani masalah.
Meanwhile, Datuk Hilmi added that an additional PPS in Sungai Lumut will be opened if the PPS Surau Ar-Rahman, which currently houses 65 flood victims, is full. According to him, the district office will provide further instructions should there be a need to transfer several victims in PPS Surau Ar-Rahman to PPS Sungai Lumut, which can accommodate more than 100 flood victims. And that's the English edition with me, Melinda Peter. More news can be found in our official portal ukas.sarawak.gov.my and social media platforms, including Facebook and YouTube. We round up tonight's UKAS Bulletin with scenes from AirBorneo's inaugural flight launching ceremony at VIP Terminal of Kuching International Airport on Friday. #Saluran Informasi Rakyat. Have a good night.